Well, screwed up the intro again. What can I say? So, welcome to another Saturday stream of American in Crimea and West to Freedom. Unfortunately, Mike Krupa had something come up and he could not be with us tonight. And my co-conspirator, Eddie Gonzalez, had some ill cats. He brought a new cat into the family and they both got sick. So he is sitting in a veterinary office somewhere in Moscow right now. The disadvantage, you'll have to wait till next Saturday to listen to us have a discussion with Mike Krupa about geopolitics and the world situation, and are we going to end as a race in the near future? The advantage to you is this is your show tonight, so I have a few things I'll talk about, but you need to ask questions or it will be a mighty short show tonight. So that said, wanted to tell you guys about a brand new law that was passed by the Ministry of Science and Higher Education in Russia pertaining to the Russian language, knowledge of history, and fundamentals of law in the Russian Federation. I say kind of a new law because it's a new law that they signed on the 14th of November, but this has actually been the procedure for the last year. So this happens all the time in Russia. Welcome to Russia. But basically, the certificate of passing the exam is issued on the territory of the Russian Federation or outside of the Russian Federation by government agencies from a list established by the government of the Russian Federation. So basically, you have to take your test from wherever they say it's legal for you to take a test. The certificate of passing must be issued no later than 3 working days from the date of the exam. And what this really means is you go in and you take the exam. It has to be submitted for approval and the certificate issued in 3 days. And the reason they're doing this is because people in the past would go to outside agencies, pay them bribe money. We'll just call a spade here. They would pay them bribe money, and it could take 2-3 days to record the whole exam. They would record like the language portion, and then they would record the written portions and so on. And then they would tack them all together and make them into one submission to the government, who would then either approve or disapprove it. I actually know somebody who did this, and he submitted it 5 days after he took the exam. But because of the dates on the video recording, they made him take it again. So this is the reason for that particular part of the law. And basically, the date of issue is determined by the day that they assign the registration number to the certificate. It has to be delivered in person or by proxy. So by proxy being somebody who's authorized to deliver it. Here in Crimea, they put it with somebody, one of the conductors on the train. They send it by train, and then you pick it up at the train station from the courier who brings it from the Minister of Education. So this law comes into effect on December 10th of this year. So that's it about language tests. They're making it harder to cheat the system. And this is why we are always telling people, start learning the Russian language before you come here, even if you are going to come on the new visa under Putin's latest decree, where you don't have to take the test for temporary residency. 3 years is a good amount of time if you spend a lot of time studying to be able to pass the permanent residency test. But let's keep in mind that most people come and they go traveling around, tourism, and they don't spend a lot of time studying. So that 3 years goes quick, and your temporary residency ends in 3 years. That's it. Permanent residency is forever. They no longer expire. So you really need to be working towards that. And it's pretty hard to call a plumber to fix your toilet if you can't speak to them in Russian. So you need to learn at least conversational Russian. So we'll talk about your favorite subject. This always gets questions going. Currency fluctuations. Last week there were a lot of YouTubers talking about the collapse of the Russian ruble. You can go out and you can get 120, 130 to 1 on the exchange rate. And, really all I've got to say about that is, bullshit. So reality is yes, the ruble fluctuates. I tell people this all the time. It goes up the end of the month. It goes down the middle of the month when the interest rates are adjusted by the central bank. And then near the end of the month, it goes back up again. This is a cyclical thing I've been watching for the last 8 months now. However, yes, it did go relatively high the other day. Reality is the highest exchange rate you would get for buying rubles from the, hey Albert Witch, how you doing? Yeah, you're right. A bit of a reaction, a bit of an allergic reaction. I'm vastly allergic to bullshit. So anyway, about the best exchange rate people were getting last week was about 113 to 1 on the US dollar. A lot of the things you saw that were higher are Google searches, this website, that website, but you need to understand that what you see out there on the internet don't tend to be purchase rates where they purchase those currencies from you. They tend to be sales rates. So 134 to 1 was a real exchange rate last week, but it's what the banks were charging you, 134 rubles to get $1 from them. However, if you brought them $1, they were giving you 112, 113 if you were lucky and you were at the right bank. So right now I'm seeing people, I had somebody come to me yesterday say, I should be able to get 112. Well, I got bad news for you. What I'm getting right now, what Sberbank is giving is currently a little further down my list, 101.3. If you want to sell them US dollars, they'll be happy to take those higher rates from you. So don't panic. This is a cyclical thing. The central bank has stopped trading dollars on the exchange market, which is meant to drop the price back down, level things out, and keep it more stable. Now, it will go down probably under 100 rubles to $1 over the next week, and possibly a little lower than that. And then it'll go back up again around the end of the year. So just understand it's a cyclical thing. It always happens. So, another thing my producers asked me to talk about, they are not with us tonight either. One of them is going off on a diving trip and his lovely wife is helping him prepare. So some of these ideas came from them. They keep notes for me on what people are asking. They were surprised to find out that there are no joint bank accounts in Russia. And, it's just the way it is here. Same thing with car ownership. In the United States, we had 2 cars and they were both in both our names. Doesn't happen here. Cars in one person's name, one only. Bank account, one person's name, one only. Now, can you get a card issued on your bank account for somebody else to be able to buy things off your account? Absolutely, but they won't have access to your account. They won't be able to see how much money you have in the account. They won't be able to transfer money in or out of it. It is simply they have a card and they can spend money on your account. So that's the way that works. Yes, Christopher. Only one idiot tonight because the other idiot had to wash his cat. So, okay. So there are no joint accounts here. If you find that to be a problem because you pool your money in the United States or in Europe to pay bills and things, so you just have to get used to the fact that open an account, have a card issued to the other person, and put your joint money in it and be happy. It'll work the same way for you. This is, I think I mentioned this again, this is a great time to transfer money from the West to Russia right now because currently the rates are in our favor. They've already started dropping. I'm getting 5 rubles to the dollar less than I was 4 days ago. So just the way it is. Large amounts of money, I actually get a bit higher rate, just so people know. I will very rarely at this point do card-to-card transactions. It will usually be direct deposits into your account. So if you're coming here, open a Sberbank account because that's the one that I can deposit in the easiest. There's rules about not being able to deposit into another customer's bank account unless you are at the same bank and they can identify both parties. So, Sberbank is our partner bank. That's why we quote their exchange rates. That's why we deposit to Sberbank accounts mostly for large amounts of money. I also, because of the slim margins on exchanges now, am no longer exchanging money for somebody and running to the bank the next day to deposit it in their bank account. If you send me a large amount of money sometime during the week, I will have cash delivered to me 1 time a week, and I will go to the bank 1 time a week. So if you send me money, let's just pick days as examples. If you send me money on Thursday and it arrives in Russia on Thursday, and my cash delivery is regularly on Friday, you'll have your money on Friday or Saturday when I go to the bank. If you send it to me on Friday night at midnight, don't be pinging me the next day or on Sunday saying, when will my money be here? Because guess what? Banks in the West don't work on weekends. Banks in Russia work on weekends, but not in the West. So, reality is don't count weekends. Small amounts of money under $4,000 take 48 to 72 hours to process and get here. And you will not get a quote on an exchange rate for that period of time. So that said, now I have people come to me and say, but I'm sending euros. Why are you quoting US dollars to rubles? Because everything you send me, no matter what currency it is, it gets converted to Canadian dollars, to US dollars, and then to rubles. So if you send me euros, it gets converted to Canadian, it gets converted to US, it gets converted to rubles. So if you want to know what you're getting for your exchange rate, I don't keep up on anything but US dollar exchange rates. So, for example, about an hour ago, the US dollar to ruble exchange rate at Sberbank was 101.3 per US dollar. So you got 101.3 rubles for every dollar you exchanged. If you send euro, the difference between the euro and $1 is €1 is equal to 105. Sorry, €1 is equal to 1.05 US dollars. So what do? You figure this on 100. You take 100 euro divided by $105.75 per euro, you get 90.945. 1 minus 0.945 equals 0.544. Multiply that by 100, you get 5.44%. So you take your 101.3, add 5.44% to it, you're getting an exchange rate of 106.81 rubles per euro, which is right in line with what the banks are giving anyway. Maybe a little less, sometimes a little higher. Great British pounds, you actually get higher. So these are rough estimates, just telling you, because I'm not going to calculate this for people. I don't have time. I work from 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. 5 days a week. Sunday's my day off. Saturday I have streams. I'm dealing with a language school. I'm dealing with construction. I'm dealing with a variety of other things going on. So I'm simplifying my life. And it's just the way it is. Treat me with respect, I'll treat you with respect. If you don't treat me with respect, I'll tell you to go to hell. Now, you crypto fanatics out there, Vladimir Putin just signed a law, brand new law as of just a few hours ago, on digital currency taxation. From now on, the purchase and sale of cryptocurrency will be transparent. Legal exchanges are required to report crypto transactions that they do for people. So the digital currency is now considered a full-fledged property, and all transactions with it will be taxed. So the tax will be assessed on the market value of the cryptocurrency. Miners must inform the tax office who uses their services to buy cryptocurrency. And if they don't tell them who's using their services, they get a fine of 40,000 rubles. Now, that said, you go to an exchange, you buy cryptocurrency, any exchange, on the street, electronically, through me, the income will have to be paid according to a 2-stage scale of personal income tax rates. 13% on the earnings up to 2.4 million rubles, and 15% for the earnings above that. So take what you paid for it, take what you sold it for, and if you made a profit on it, you're paying 13 or 15% income on that difference, just on the profit. Transactions will not be able to be covered under the patent system, which is a work permit here, or the self-employed regime, which is what I operate under for a good amount of my business. So it's all transactions now. And the Cabinet of Ministers had restricted mining in 11 regions or to 11 regions of Russia to avoid a shortage of electricity during the heating system. And by 2027, they plan to have that caught up and opened up to all regions. So let me gander what we got going on in the chat here before I go on. Yep, that's why I said Eddie's babysitting sick cats at the vet. As Christopher says, buy rubles now. They're on sale. I don't expect they will be at the rates they are for more than, probably a week. They are dropping already. They've lost 6-7 rubles per dollar of value just in the last 4 days. And that's because of this thing that the central bank rolled out where they're not buying on the market anymore. Yep, a great deal of crypto is mined in Russia. Now they have to be licensed. I deal with 2 licensed exchanges. They're actually mines where they exchange it for you. They are licensed, they are legal, and we do everything above the board. If you want to go outside of the rules, I had a guy come to me the other day and he said, I want to send you cryptocurrency. And I said, well, I need this, this, and this from you to identify you. And he says, I don't care about the laws. He said, I care about eating. And then after that, the laws. I said, dude, you don't care about following the rules, then I can't help you. I won't help you. So I have too many people I have to answer to here to keep my knickers clean. Edelwolf, if you never understood crypto and you don't want to, good for you. Costs you a little more to get your money here, but hey, it is what it is. If you do not know cryptocurrency, do not come to me and expect me to teach you for free so that you can transfer $500 worth of crypto. I would be happy to give you lessons. I get $100 an hour, and I will teach you everything you want to know. You want to know what exchanges I use? I'm glad to tell you if you take the 3-hour lesson. So $300, you get that from me. Otherwise, don't bother asking me. I won't tell you. That's the knowledge you're paying me to have because I keep up with who's legal and who's not. If you are not familiar with crypto, do not get involved in it. I had somebody the other day say, I have USDT to send to you. Where do I send it? So, well, what network? What do you mean? It's USDT. Well, it's either this network, or this network. They all change different fees. I deal in this one, this one. If you want me to take that from you, you pay the high fees that they charge. Well, I don't know. It's just Tether. So, well, okay, dude, you don't know enough about crypto to deal with crypto. Don't do it. You'll get screwed. Arend, Countryside Acres, dabbled in crypto and lost 10 grand. It is not a market for neophytes. Do not do it. Don't do it. Stop it. And I was asked about prices of real estate and where people can buy. I was asked this by a former Russian citizen just today too. She said, well, I understand that everything has to be bought in my name in Moscow because we can't buy an apartment in his name because he's a U.S. citizen. Not true. Anybody on any kind of visa can buy an apartment in Russia anywhere other than closed cities. So you cannot buy a house on property in border regions. There's a whole list. It's in Russian. I can give it to you, or it's out in the forums at this point. But You can't buy property in a house in the border regions unless you're a citizen. Apartments, they don't care. Don't ask me the reason behind it. I guess if I own a piece of property on the border and, I can sneak enemy troops in or something, and I can't if I'm in an apartment, who knows? I don't question why they pass the laws they do. I just follow them. Prices on real estate, I was asked, have things stagnated in pricing on the market, or have they been going up or down due to the high mortgage rates and salaries? Um, the mortgage rate, if you take out a mortgage here right now, Spurbank, 25% for a mortgage. Because of this, prices have actually dropped slightly in most regions of Russia. I just saw a report that in Moscow, prices of apartments were down something like 13%. Again, just like in the West, it's a cyclical thing. Prices go up, they go down. They go up higher and they go down a little. They go up higher and they go down a little. So it's always creeping up anyway. So just the way it is. Building materials, they go up every spring. And what they tell me is, well, it's up because it's the building season and everybody's buying and remodeling. And they'll go down in the fall when it's not building season anymore. They never go down in the fall, but in the spring they go up again, and it's because it's the building season. So the Russians have really taken to the idea of capitalism. So I've seen Bitcoin vendors locally not touching it. Good idea. Good way to get screwed, because the other thing that people don't realize is, particularly with Bitcoin, Bitcoin can have what's called red marks on them. And you get Bitcoin from one of these vendors, and if the wallets can't be traced that it passed through to get to them, when it shows up to you in your wallet, you now have red marks on your wallet, and you go to change it for currency and they won't take it because of these red marks, because they're tied to the black web, the dark web, the pink web, the basically illegal stuff. So stay away from things like that. Buy from a valid person who sells crypto or from a valid exchange. Yeah, I remember 2008, 2009. This really isn't like that, but really what's driving things here is the change in the value of the ruble. And the central bank is taking steps to, get that under control. So the supply and demand issue isn't as much like it was in 2008, 2009 in the States. A little bit, because people usually don't take mortgages here. Usually. They usually don't buy insurance on their houses. You can buy it at banks. It's expensive. But the reason somebody asked was exactly this question, Etta Wolf. Excuse me. It's coming. See, in Russia, that means I'm telling the truth. So anyway, the supply and demand, no, supply is pretty high here and prices have been going up. Now prices have gone down a bit simply because the money people are earning isn't keeping up with the loss on the rubles. Keep in mind that it's good for us as Westerners. I love being able to get 100 rubles for my dollar, versus a year ago, 80 rubles a dollar, or 2 years ago, 60 rubles a dollar. It's not a good thing for Russians, because when the ruble is like that, the price of everything else goes up as well, because the ruble's not as valuable. It doesn't buy as much. Importing it costs more. So that's more what it is. People just don't have as much money to be buying property. Um, yep, Christopher, I know this is sarcasm, but yes, all money, Canadian Tire dollars. And we buy lawnmowers at the Canada Tire store. We smuggle them into Belarus, and then moved by a Gopnik with a truck to Crimea, and then sell them to you. So, yeah, because after all, we don't need lawnmowers in Crimea. You have to go a long ways to find grass. So, yeah, about which that's it's an ingenious solution, but we'll credit Christopher for that. Christopher is one good guy. So if he tells you something, you see him around the forums, listen to the man. He knows what he's talking about. Will not steer you wrong. So this is one of the things I started to talk about a little earlier. Yeah, capital gains on crypto are taxed as straight income now. KYC has been a law here. This is why when I'm transferring money for people right now, I'm asking for a copy of your passport. I've been doing it for a while because it is the law. So, yeah, they're taxing the miners. The miners pay a different tax than the guys who are buying and selling crypto. So if you buy crypto, because you've passed the test in the Russian Federation, saying that you know what you're doing and you're not going to get screwed, then if you sell it and earn money on it, you're going to pay income tax on it. So Russia's tax system isn't as complicated. If you lose money on your crypto, you aren't going to pay tax, but of course, you also aren't going to claim it as a loss on your tax return and get money back either. Russia's kind of a one-way thing. You pay if you earn money, and if you don't, you're SOL. It's a wonderfully simple system. Some of my best friends are the lovely ladies at the tax office. Make friends with them and you can't go wrong. But yeah, don't be surprised if I ask for your passport, a copy of your passport, if you're sending money through me. Edelwolf, that's because you got afraid and you ran away from the forums. That's not our fault. So it means you're losing good advice. You're getting it from me or you're getting it from Eddie, but you're not going to get it from Christopher unless he makes a serious comment in chat. So I don't know, dude. Okay, so questions. George's. As soon as I get my business visa, my wife and I plan on moving to Anapa, Crimea area. Since I can't buy a house in a coastal city, what are the steps involved in renting a house long term? Well, Anapa and Crimea, there actually are regions you can buy property. And in Crimea, there's two. They're outside of the Feroce area. They're not very near to the sea. Anapa, I don't know exactly. I know there's some in the Krasnodar area. Yeah, I feel funny. I got to look over the window ledge and I'm short today. So how do you rent a house long term? You have to find an owner who's willing to sell to you long term and let you be registered there. That's all I can tell you on that one. Get a real estate agent. I know people in the Sochi area, but what can I say? How are you afraid you were banned on Telegram? Oh, come on, man. You were banned in a couple of forums for annoying the forum owners. You weren't banned from Telegram. You deleted your ID. And I know that because I can see the logs and I still have our chats tied to your deleted account uh, handle. So you're pulling one over on me. So, hey, I call it how I see it. Sorry. I was Russian long before I became Russian. I've just gotten worse. So, any questions? We've been 36 minutes now. We got 22 people out there. We're getting good comments out in the chat, but I'm not seeing questions. So, pop your questions out there, or I'm going to go and finish my cold medicine and think about turning on the TV and falling asleep since I'm still going on last night's 4 hours of sleep. Dingbat Goldfarb, I was thinking about coming over. Hey, Dingbat, good to see you. Coming over and volunteering for one of the PMCs, but it seems like several of them are under U.S. sanctions and are even designated as terrorists. Yeah, I could talk about that. Do you really give a damn? If you're coming to Russia to fight for Russia, do you really give a shit what the United States has to say about them? You know, I bank at Spurbank. Spurbank's under sanctions, not supposed to be banking with them as a U.S. citizen. But guess what? What the U.S. doesn't know won't hurt them. You aren't going to go fight in a Russian private military company for Russia against NATO and Ukraine and then climb on a plane and go back to the United States unscathed. This is where you will find somebody waiting on the other side as you get off the airplane to grab you, question you, and potentially arrest you. That's reality. If it's not a sanctioned PMC by the West, and you come and you fight for Russia against Ukraine and the West, you're going to have the same problem. So sanctions are for people who, A, are so honest they tell everything, or B, don't plan to make a life here. That's reality. Don't come here and fight for Russia in the current conflict unless you're an experienced military person and you're using it to gain Russian citizenship, because it won't go well for you. The likelihood of you having to worry about US sanctions if you go fight with a PMC probably isn't something you should worry about. You should worry about whether or not you're going to come out of it alive, and the likelihood, the odds are against you. So I heard Vladimir Putin talking about this just in the last 24 hours about the fact that Russia has lost a lot more people than a lot of the Western analysts claim. They haven't lost as many as Ukraine claims they've lost. So, don't know. Not a good thing to do. That's all I can say. If you're young, experienced, and dumb, go ahead. If you can't speak fluent Russian, they won't take you anyway. So keep that in mind, Dingbat. Anyway. Yeah, Edelwolf, go crying and go running off. So this is what you did on Telegram too, is you cried and then you ran off. So you can see here he was banned on 2. Actually, I was physically chatting with him when he said, "Gee, I'm leaving Telegram." He deleted his account right away, and it was gone. And now because I called him on it, he's going to unsubscribe from my channel. Well, guess what? I'm not monetized anyway, and Edelwolf, you don't bother donating to me, so have a good life, dude. Um, do what you usually do, cry and run off then. So, Edelwolf, I'm not buying it. I don't care. Paka. Do svidania. Adios. Arrivederci. And if you're going to take a crybaby snowflake attitude, um, you know, goodbye and good riddance. That's all I can say. So I hate shit like that. And yeah, I'm tired, so I'm swearing a bit more than usual. All by which you found that funny, huh? Um, what can I say? People create their own problems. A wise woman told me that a long time ago. Most people create their own problems. Yes, all but which. Life's too short for drama, so why create drama for yourself? Um, you know, it's all it is. Never thought that Ethelwolf was a snowflake, but anyway. So no questions. I don't know. Give me something to talk about for another 20 minutes. No, what can I tell you about? Oh hell, I don't know. I got nothing else to talk about, guys. So there's no questions. I'm just gonna head on off and be done with it all. So have a good evening. If you want to find me various places, here's our Telegram channel. Notice the consistency in my naming. And you want to find me on x.com? I'm consistent, if nothing else. And, if you want to send me a personal message, you can ping me here. Again, consistency with me. And of course, our website, which seemed to have disappeared down under my name, westoffreedom.com. You want to set up a consultation on moving money, immigration, anything like that, give me a ping. I will be back here tomorrow with Eddie Gonzalez talking to Afro Andy. So good guy from Africa, married to a Russian woman. And we're going to talk a little bit about interracial marriage and living in Russia. So that'll be a good conversation. And next Saturday, we will have Mike Krupa here. He'll be giving us some inside data from the European Union, where he is exceptionally well connected, and give us his analysis of what's going on in the world today. How about which it was my pleasure to talk to you about currency. Seems like that's the only thing I talk about anymore. Any different subjects? Leave something in the comments for me to pick up on other shows going forward. I'm getting tired of money. So that said, do svidania, paka. For those of you on this end of the world, spokane nochi. For those of you on the other end of the world, dobry din. Talk about music. What do you want to know about music? They have music in Russia. I guess if Jay was here, I could sing again. But, you come to Crimea, you're looking at a lot of Tatar music, and you will find a lot of American soft rock. But So if you got something specific you want to know about music, let me know and I'll talk about it some more. So everybody have a good one. I love this guy's name, even though I can't read it. Good evening to you. And it was good having you here. So talk to y'all later. And with that, I'm trying to find the button to actually end the stream. Okay, I'll look for your details on the music. Talk to y'all later.
С чего начинается Родина? С окошек горящих вдали, со старой отцовской буденовки, что где-то в шкафу мы нашли. А может, она начинается со стука вагонных колес, из клятвы, которую в юности ты ей в своем сердце принес. С чего начинается родина?